Mamma mia, what a game. Milan won, Genoa won. We're here, ladies and gentlemen, back for the instant reaction for an utterly bizarre game of football. Before I even get into this, because I will try and be as structured as I possibly can. But oh my God, so much happened. I'm trying to replay it back in my brain. Like, why are we our own worst enemies? Why can we not play a normal game of football? It's baffling. It's so baffling. Before I get into it, I just want to say we have dropped points at home to the following teams: Cremonese, Pisa, Genoa, and Sassuolo, or Sassuolo and then Genoa. What on earth? And then we go and beat Inter. We go and beat Roma. We beat Napoli. This team, man, we came away from our home in Milan, in the San Siro, lucky to get a point. Lucky to get a point. Now, I'm not going to completely berate it because ultimately, whether it was bad luck or good luck, and I think, a couple people in the Sempre Milan chat have quite rightly said, we are, I think it's Ahmed made a great comment, we are equally lucky to be in the title race, but also to not be anywhere near, because we are our own worst enemies. It's utterly baffling. Let's get into the match, because there's a lot to talk about here. That's like a lot. We are 1 point ahead of Napoli still. So we did still keep that 1 point lead. And we are, unfortunately, we're 3 points behind Inter. So we're one win behind them. I'm not so bothered about that. And quite frankly, with how the season works, I actually prefer to be the chasing team or teams for as long as possible, because unless you're 9-10 points ahead, because it's a better, there's less pressure. And I'm convinced Inter are going to drop when the Champions League restarts, because their team's so old, they will get injuries and things. But so I'm not so worried. The Scudetto, whatever, it's not our main game. 3 points, it's not a big deal, right? Okay, fine. But it was more of a at this point, it's more, as we said in the pub chat, Steph and I, last week, it's more of a case of let's try and get these points now on these on paper easy fixtures, because we don't have European fixtures. So we need to try and claw the points now, because teams often go one of two ways if they're playing European football. They either hit a massive stride and just are banging it and it helps their form, or it causes it to undulate. We haven't got to worry about that. We're just playing one game a week. Okay, this is a congested time in January, but after this, it's one game a week. We need to start clawing these points. So that's why I'm annoyed. I'm not so bothered about, okay, we've lost the league. No, 3 points, it's whatever. We're not in March, it's January. So much football left to play. So let's crack on and actually talk about the match, because freaking hell, man, oh my God, if you didn't see it, you need to watch the highlights of this game, or actually watch it back, because it's mental. So let's start first with the first half. The usual malaise of Milan, the usual malaise is back. Ultimately, we started the first half really poorly, but more so moving the ball slowly. We have a real issue with this sort of lethargy against these weaker on paper sides, where we just cannot physically move the ball quickly. We need something to happen. And we had the ball mostly for the first 5-10 minutes, and then we just kind of let Genoa have it. And again, there's been chat about maybe this is a tactic of Allegri to kind of let any team that we're playing knacker themselves out. And obviously we're a counter-attacking team, and then we hit them on the break. Fine. But we didn't have any of the neat passing. The midfield was really poor today. I thought, other than a few nice touches that Modric had, he didn't have a great game. He lost possession. He wasn't awful. I'm not going to single him out. Don't worry. We're talking about another midfielder in a moment. Rabiot again was the best, I think, overall player on the pitch. I don't think he's really had a bad game since he's joined Milan. Absolutely brilliant player, Rolls-Royce type player. Love him. And then the other players I kind of want to highlight that I expect a little bit more from. Salamakers was very ineffective today, and also a bit like Modric, bit lazy in the sort of like tracking back, winning the ball back type thing. But again, like Modric, had some nice touch because I think they're the tidiest players that we have in the team in terms of technical dribbling ability. The defense was poor, really, really poor. Tomori was actually, I thought, again, his rash self, but I actually thought he was the best of the three. Pavlovic did his roaming thing at the first half, which I didn't really like, and Gabbia was just wasn't concentrated. It was his fault for the Colombo goal. So yeah, let's talk about the goal because that was the first major event that occurred. To be honest, it was the first major event that occurred, and it happened. It happened obviously fairly early on, and I'm just trying to get the information back. Yeah, so it happened in the 28th minute, and yeah, Gabbia just lost his man. He pulled Colombo down, and Colombo actually like fell down and then kicked the ball into the back of the net. Classic Milan player on loan scoring against us, and that was literally their first shot of the game. And the commentary was saying how we've scored like 5 in a row in our first shot, and what did Genoa go on do? Not only score with the Milan player on loan, but with their first shot of the game. Awful defending. Like that's never a goal. If you're ahead of your man and you defend that properly, that is literally never a goal. So Gabbia, really poor. He did kind of like buck his ideas up after that, but really poor. I did not enjoy Gabbia or Pavlovic tonight. In fact, it really highlights that none of our centre-backs are top quality. I've maintained this for a long time. I think all of our centre-backs, De Winter included, are at best a 6 out of 10 on their day. They might have the odd 7 out of 10 performance, but none of them are like 7.5, 8 out of 10 solid centre-backs. None of them. They're not. They're just not. Gabbia is the most consistent, but he still has these lapses. And that was really, really basic defending that he just wasn't able to do, and really just shouldn't have been a goal, right? So really just not good. I mean, we had so much of the possession, 61%. Our XG was much more. We had 32 shots in total, with only 8 of those on target. I mean, Leali, Genoa's goalkeeper, had some great saves, as they often do against us, but that's fine. Yeah, just madness. And then the weirdest thing, oh my God, comic relief and our half. I mean, you actually have to laugh at it because Yusuf Fofana, who I've not even mentioned his name yet, right? Yusuf Fofana I can't even describe what it was. Like in real time, it was almost like his reactions were so slow. So the ball had been glanced across. I can't remember who crossed it. Like my brain has been frazzled. That game was so mental. The ball was glanced across and Fofana had an open net, which, okay, fair enough. He wasn't really in a position to kick it. He needed to head it because of where his body position was. Fine. But instead of like waiting for the ball to land, he like falls forward and the ball goes over him. So he goes under the ball. And in real time, it honestly looks as if he's just got like the slowest reaction times in the world. You then realize that he just loses his like balance on his leading foot as he's heading the ball and just falls. Like collapses. How can you do that as a professional footballer? I just don't understand. Like Fofana is full of this. He will do really basic stuff kind of well. And when I say basic stuff, I mean like running and defending and kind of like winning the ball back kind of like on a counter against the opposition. But then, or he'll dribble and run like 40 yards and then do like he baffles me. Like you have to laugh. Please, I implore anyone who has not seen it to watch this miss. It is genuinely a historic miss in front of goal. Like crazy. That should have been the equalizer there, right? That alone. Then Pulisic, right? And I'm going to be jumping around because this game deserves to be jumping around because it was just mental. And then Pulisic, which, I mean, this was in the second half. In the 60th minute exactly, the ball comes through and by Bartazaghi, who I actually thought had a fantastic game until the penalty, which we'll talk about in a moment. He's the only guy who can actually put crosses in, and why the hell was Fulkrug not playing for putting that many crosses in? But that's literally, that could do a whole video on that. The formation, the mental. Bartazaghi whips an amazing ball in. Gabbia like gets the first touch on his head. And then Pulisic jumps into the net where the ball is almost certainly like 99% already in the net, or it might be touching like the post at the top and then going in, right? And Pulisic jumps into the net with his arm like that, and then like arms the ball in, and obviously it's ruled offside. Now we never actually got to see the offside or him that like the still image of his hand touching the ball, but it doesn't matter. It's stupid. It's really stupid. We had two instances of pure like just where's your brain at? Like where is your brain at, guys? Come on. Why do we do this against these teams? I do not understand it. It cannot be an Allegri thing. It cannot be like it's I honestly do not have an answer for it. It's just mind blowing. It's mind blowing. Anyway, we then kind of at this point clearly put the pressure on. Obviously, Loftus-Cheek comes on for Salamanca's literally straight after the second half starts, and then full crew. Yeah, Loftus-Cheek comes on for Fofana. Apologies, literally at half time, and then a little bit after that, full crew comes on for his second bits of minutes in the Milan shirt for Salamanca's, which is a great substitution because Salamanca's wasn't very good. And then we were sort of playing like a 4-3-3, come 4-4-2 type formation with kind of Leao and full crew drifting up front. Leao kind of drifting wide a little bit. And then obviously Pulisic out wide a bit more. It was a bit odd, to be perfectly honest, but whatever. And then, like, Genoa have a couple of the chances. They almost scored again with Colombo's second shot with an amazing header that I genuinely thought was 2-0. And then you're thinking, right, okay, like, we're 1-0 down. We need a goal. We suddenly start playing a bit better, again, moving the ball. But why do we have to have this reaction? We've had this since, like, the second year of Pioli. I don't understand why we need to be poked up the bum, why we need to be the bear to be poked for us to react. I just do not understand it. Liali has another amazing save against Pulisic. Rabiot wraps his foot for a volley. Fulkrug has a chance in the box. He looked all right. Again, it's just nice to have a reference point up top. He wasn't particularly amazing, but he had a couple of decent shots, but they were just crap. And then Leao kind of like in the 92nd minute in injury time, the ball kind of like hits Leao's head. He's not really like heading it properly. It just kind of like hits his head and it just goes straight in. And you're like, oh my God, 1-1. Let's fucking go. Let's try and win this. Because at that point, we actually had a little bit of momentum. I could see us like we're really, kind of flooding the box at this point. Genoa played low block the whole time. De Rossi had a great game plan. We're terrible at low blocks anyway. I wish I'd seen Fulkrug on earlier, to be honest. He needed to come on from the 45th minute, in my opinion. That extra 20 minutes of just, if we were lumping balls in all game, get the big man there. Like, he's 6'3", he's massive, he's strong. Just get him in like that. A couple of those crosses that happened like 20 minutes before he came on could have resulted in a goal. But that's another conversation. I didn't like that from Allegri, I'll be honest. So yeah, we're winning. We're drawing the game. We've got the point. We've salvaged a point after an awful game with actually hilarious, calamitous football and events, right? We're tying the game at home, which is mental, but it's good. It keeps that sort of one loss streak. It keeps the sort of positive vibes. I'm happy with it. And then all of a sudden, we concede a penalty with Bartazaghi just like, honestly, just flying in. Like, I just don't understand. He literally flies in by Elterson. It's Manyan, sorry. Manyan brings him down. Not Bartazaghi. I apologize. Sorry. This is what I mean. This game's... I honestly implore, guys, watch this game back. It is mental. Like, genuinely mental. I have no words. Well, I have a lot of words. I've been speaking for 15 minutes. But you know what I mean? It was crazy. And then Stanchu, who I really rate, Romanian midfielder for Genoa, I think he's a great player, puts the ball down. I thought he looked quite confident, to be honest. And he just puts the ball down and just skies it. And it just goes, like, honestly, row Z into the San Siro. And then about 10 seconds later, it's full time. And you're thinking, so we've got the point? I'm genuinely in disbelief. I've recorded this instantly, like straight after the full-time whistle. And I don't really have much else more to say other than we had the chances. We were the better team. But honestly, we did not deserve to win today. We didn't. I'm sorry. Between the attitude and the malaise that we had in the first 15, 20 minutes and how slow we passed the ball, And then the idiotic moments between Fofana and Pulisic. And you could argue a couple of the other players on the pitch as well. The poor decision for me for Allegri, I think Fulkrug should just come on at half-time, just bring him on, especially when we're crossing the ball so much. I don't have... Oh, no, I do have it. We have... Oh, no, I don't have the crossing stats, but I imagine it would be probably at least 15, if not more. We had 12 corners. Like, we dominated the game in terms of the statistics. If you look at XG, you look at momentum, you look at possession. But honestly, we did not deserve to win this game. We didn't. And I go back to my original point of what I started speaking about. We have dropped points, i.e. we have drawn or lost, Cremonese being the loss, to the following teams at home: Cremonese, Pisa, Sassuolo, and Genoa. And the fact that we're still second is crazy. I don't know what that really says about the league. I don't really know what it says about us as a team, to be honest. But like that's bad. There's an issue there. I don't know what it is, but there's a real issue there. Look, we've got a huge game on Sunday against Fiorentina at 2:00. Not a great fixture time. Fiorentina are gaining a bit of momentum now. They need to get out. They need to be climbing the table, which they are doing slowly. And you know what it's like, Milan against Fiorentina. We love giving them a win. Not a draw. We love giving them a win. So, yeah, like... I don't know what to say because I do not feel confident about that game on Sunday, just because I'm watching us play against these, again, quote unquote, smaller teams, the teams that we should be, even if not we're beating them all the time, we should be performing well because, yes, they're low blocks, but we should have the ruthlessness to be able to dominate. But we don't. We are our own worst enemies. Milan are our own worst enemies. Look, I could talk about it in a round, but it's been long enough. Thank you so much for listening. I'd love to know what you guys think. So please get in the comments for this one because, my God, you guys are going to have thoughts about it. I really want to hear. We all want to hear what you guys think. So, yeah. Ultimately, Milan draw at home again to a sort of bottom half team. We're somehow still second. We somehow kept that lead on Napoli. 3 points now behind that Inter, but I'm honestly not worried about that. I'm more worried about the performances at this point because this is the point in the season when the other teams are looking at European football in like 3 weeks' time that we need to be like gain momentum. This is where I need to be seeing good performances. This is where we need to use the advantage of the fact that we only have one game a week and show the other teams in the league what we're about. But yeah, ultimately, Milan won, Genoa won. That's how it ends. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back for Pub Chat this weekend. Obviously, the main pod as well. All the bonus stuff. Listen in. Keep tuned to everything Sempre Milan. And look, Forza Milan always. And we'll see you guys for a huge game against Fiorentina in only a few days' time. Cheers, guys, and take care.